Emmanuel, God is with us. 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 This video is about how to get free houseplants. We're all in the house right now, so we've all kind of gotten into houseplants, and we're kind of trying to have something to get the air filtered and stuff like that. I wasn't able to film on the site, but what I did was I went to the mall when the gardeners were trimming the plants, because you know they like to keep everything tidy. And obviously, if you can look at this, this is not something they want at the mall parking lot. So they cut it off, and okay, it's not the best representation of a mother-in-law plant, but a mother-in-law plant in my area right now is costing like 30 bucks, and this cutting was fine. Now I want to show you, see, it's just part of a leaf. Any part of a snake plant leaf will create a new plant. It will root and it will give you a new plant, as long as you have it where you know where the top is from. Like I could even cut this again and make 2 or 3 plants out of this. You know, after it roots, I may make another cutting. You know, all you need is a part of a leaf of a mother-in-law's tongue, and it will root. This is a ZZ plant. These are just some leaves that came off the ZZ plant, and as you can see, they don't lose their, oh my goodness, it's got roots already. I just put this in there 2 or 3 days ago, and as you can see, it already has roots. Okay, so you can get an entirely new ZZ plant from a leaf. You guys, I wasn't sure if that was going to root or not, but they had some leaves. You know, every plant when you're passing by, leaves fall off the plant. ZZ plant leaves. This plant rooted in indirect light, in dirt that's, if you look at my dirt, it's not even wet. You see, I haven't watered it because you don't really need, this is an amaryllis pot, and you don't really need to water amaryllis in the wintertime. So I put all my little cuttings in here. I've got Christmas cactus cuttings, some other ZZ leaves, because I thought, you know, if I put 3 or 4 leaves in a pot, then that'll be just like a ZZ plant, and it'll just, you know, they grow very, very slowly. This is a branch off of a kind of unusual looking plant that's very easy to grow in California. This is a trailing plant, but normally this plant goes up and we get beautiful flowers on it in the summertime, but the plant gets really, really big here. But this one is trailing, so I thought it would be nice in a pot. Outside is where it's going to be eventually. It's not going to stay a house plant. I'm in Southern California, so I can grow my house plants, most of them outside, which is why they had cuttings, because when you grow them outside, they get really big. You have to trim them. All of these are grown outside at the mall in Southern California. The gardener came through, they trimmed their plants. Not my amaryllis, I bought that. So, yeah, and so I got some cuttings. This is another one. These are cuttings. I know this cutting has already rooted. I think this cutting was a little bit too long to be a cutting, because when I first put it in here, it was drooping. But now it's going straight up, so I know that it probably has roots by now, because I see from that ZZ, they get roots pretty quickly. Here's my latest cutting. This is from the Manhattan Beach Mall. And there's an unusual story with it. I'm going to have to do another picture for you so you can get the whole idea. This is a Hoya Queen, I think it is, Carnosa. In any event, in Los Angeles, where I live in Los Angeles County, this grows outside. So it's used as a plant to decorate the malls. Well, at the mall, they like the green version. And somehow this plant got intermingled with the one that they used. So the gardener was busy out there pulling this plant out to throw it away. This is a Christmas tree cutting. This is the Christmas cactus cutting. Not only did it root, it's putting on bloom spikes. And this was the old bloom spike. I took that off when I put the cutting in there. And it's growing new ones. So I know she's happy. These are some other easy succulents in my area. And these all came from the mall parking lot. So nothing, no fancy place. And you guys, wherever you are, take a look out at your local mall. If it's close to you, find out when the gardeners are trimming the plants. And, you know, grab those plants for yourself. I mean, okay, if you're rich and you got to have a big, fabulous plant to start with, I understand, you know, you can't have something in your window looking like, you know, a little jungle. But this jungle will grow. Oh, and I got this cast iron leaf. This was just a gift. They didn't need to trim this. This is a perfectly fine leaf, but I just couldn't find the plant in the store. So these plants are hard to come by. I love cast iron plants. I would, if I were to purchase for myself and not take a cutting, it would be the cast iron plant because I just love it so much. It's a low light plant and it's just an easy plant. Whereas this one for me is a highlight plant. So it wants more light than I usually have. This is the bathroom, so it's high humidity. That might be why these are all rooting. I don't know if this ZZ plant is going to be able to. This is a cutting too. All of these are cuttings. You guys, another way you can get cuttings. In my area, Walmart has a lot of parking lots full of plants that grow good in your area. But our Walmarts, if they don't make enough money, Walmart abandons them and leaves everything there to die. And any plants that make it through a couple of years in the abandoned Walmart parking lot, you might just want to go over to that parking lot and get a cutting. It's not owned by anybody, or if it is owned by somebody, it's not tended to. You know those desolate Walmart parking lots? Don't go, right when they close it down. Wait and see what the survivors are, what plants actually are happy in your zone. And, you just get some plants you get a leaf like that, or a little piece of a plant like that. The leaves on this plant would work just fine too, but, that plant was trailing and they had to cut that way back, because it was like 4 foot long. It actually is a vining plant. So, I'm not going to turn it down. And then there's this one. This plant here is the same plant as this one, but this is the vining plant. And this plant here, I will have to keep it trimmed because otherwise it'll get to be like a 6 foot tall bush in my area. All of these, I just stuck them in the soil. Let me see it. I know this one has roots because I know the Christmas cactus has roots because it's about to bloom. Who would have thought a cutting could bloom? I pulled the flower out. They tell you not to do a cutting when it's flowering. I pulled the flower off of it. It's actually blooming. All of the leaves that I put in there, they tell you need 3 or 4 leaves, otherwise it won't take. I only put 1 leaf in there because, some leaves aren't going to make it, so I want to, keep my chances good. With these succulents, 1 leaf always does fine. You don't need but 1 leaf. But it takes so long to become a plant, whereas this is already a cute plant. By summer, this will be filling out the area and looking beautiful, And these are already a cute plant. I will keep on cutting from this one because even though it's a trailing plant, it's really meant to be a plant that just grows around in a space, and when it reaches the ground, you see how it's getting aerial roots there? Because this is pretty high humidity, I keep the toilet bowl open so the humidity goes for the plants. And even in Southern California, in this area, if you look, I am growing a ivy. It's much too dry for ivy in my area, so, but I am growing an ivy because I keep it in the plastic, which keeps the humidity up. It gives it a terrarium type effect, and then it just grows out of that. And when the soil in here gets to where it's, this one I keep wet all the time, and it's fine with it. This plant, the only thing, it wants humidity, and it's pretty much fine, you know, so yeah. There you go. This plant was a Christmas gift to me, but I just had to tell you about it while I was telling you how to get your free plants. That's what this is about. All of these are from the mall parking lot. They're trimming the plants, making it look beautiful, and these pieces, for the most part, aren't that fabulous looking. You know, they're something that you might think was trash. But if you're into cuttings, and plants today, they want $15 for any little plant. It's hard to find. I used to be able to get plants when I was younger for $1 each. You get a little starter plant, not much more than these. You get $1 each, and it was fun. You could go every week or so when you had a little money and pick out a new plant to add to your collection. And I used to put them just like this. And then by summer, they would all grow really cute together. But nowadays, they want so much money that it's hard to do this. You know, you can't get your little succulents going on and plants that grow with succulents. Mother-in-law's tongues. They want $30 or $40 for a mother-in-law's tongues. Those used to be $1 all the time, and people would just grow their own. And they have so many different types now. And this ZZ plant is new. So this is a way you can get it. You know, if you know somebody with a Christmas cactus, in my area, Christmas cactus can get 6 foot long. Who wants a 6 foot long? Who has a place, you know, if you have a mansion, you can have a 6 foot long or even 12 foot long Christmas cactus. But the rest of us, we don't have that kind of space, so you have to keep them trimmed. Just get those little leaves, stick them in soil that is kept relatively dry. And if the soil is dry, they won't rot. They'll get their root system going. You know, let me see. I know this one has a root system. I can look at it and tell. Ew. It's just barely. See, it's just barely. So, it's just the root system is a micro. It's got two roots coming out of them, if you can see there. 2 roots coming out. And it's not getting much water. I'm sticking back in this soil. Oh, shoot. Soil is dry. Even if you put it flat like that, if you don't put it the other way, the whole plant will root. Oh, yeah, the whole plant will root. So don't worry about it. You can do it. I'm sorry my skin's so dry, you guys. We're all washing, I'm washing like 20 times a day. But I wanted to tell you this. Merry Christmas, everybody. Go get your Christmas cuttings from when the gardeners come to the mall and they trim everything up. Go and just, you know, just go and get the cuttings that they trim off the plants and then use them for your own garden. You know, they have really great landscapers. They pick the best plants for your area. Go get them. You know, all you need is a cutting. And in a year or two, this garden will be worth, I don't know, $300 or $400. Yeah.